What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dirt to Whiskey, Season 2, Episode 6. As always, my man, Long Beach Mike. We have Miss Elizabeth Keller and a special guest all the way from AEV land, Richard Henry. What's up, everybody?
Hiya.
Liz, good to see you. Thanks
too.
for joining us again.
Thank you.
So I guess since the intro's done, what are you drinking, Billy?
Oh, see, today's a good day because we all have something different to talk about.
We do.
I got hooked on the branding of this one because there's like a dead guy on top.
Does that mean the picture on the bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Rogue is really good.
Yeah. So picked up a bottle of dead guy whiskey from Rogue, and I put it in my sweet new whiskey glasses, courtesy of Mike. And I even got some stones in there, not to dilute it, so I don't power drink on the episode here.
So cheers to that.
Cheers.
Nice. There you go. So no more plastic solo cup full of bottom shelf Kessler.
So I was using those little Walmart wine glasses, and I dropped ice in one, and it blew a hole out of the side. Tells you the quality of those glasses.
Yeah, it tells you the quality of that. Aaron had the same frozen wine glass, and I got it out of the freezer for her last week, and the whole side had blown out of it.
Yeah.
So
you're saving lives by sending me glasses. Thank you.
Yeah. So enjoy it. I'm more than happy to send it to you, so you can look like an adult at the big boys table now.
Yes. Liz, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve, Reserve, however you want to say it. So something a little bit different.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
That's fancy.
No.
You are on the boat.
Yeah, so exactly. I'm leaning into that whole thing. Next week I'll have a freaking Hawaiian shirt. We'll be all about
We doing Hawaiian shirts? So
yes.
What's the backstory on the Glenlivet then? Because I've never even heard of that.
So the Caribbean Reserve.
Is it like aged in rum barrels?
Yes, I believe so. And then it's matured and bottled in Scotland. I forgot everything I need to say about this. Great. Thanks, guys. No, it's awesome. And let me look it up and get you guys more info.
Is it good?
It tastes delicious.
Yeah,
that's the important part, right?
What's important. That's what's important. So for us on this side, because Richard here from AEV is actually from Utah. I got us the High West from Park City, Utah.
Yes, sir.
And this is Campfire, which I've never actually had before. And it tastes like you're drinking a campfire.
It totally does.
Does it really?
So, it's very smoky. Yeah. I'm not one for peaty scotches and stuff like that, which kind of have that smoky, that essence of smoke to it. This is smoky. I mean, it's Campfire for a reason. I've never had it before, and I got a bottle. Apparently, the bottle's hard to find.
It is super hard to find.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, it tastes it. Other than the smoke, which isn't overpowering, it's like a peatiness. It's actually pretty smooth.
I got on the High West a couple years ago, but I could only find the same 2 bottles, and I think they carry 3, right?
They do.
And Campfire was the one I could never find.
Boo-Rye is the other really, really hard one to find. I haven't seen a bottle of that out here in years. So, I mean, if you find Campfire, grab the bottle if you can. You will not be sorry. It's got some sweetness to it, a little bit of apple. I taste a little bit of apple and the smoke. So it's pretty good. So that's what I'm drinking today. And Liz is drinking. You're drinking. All of us are living the dirt to whiskey, the whiskey portion of it anyway.
Oh, yeah. We got that covered.
So tonight's guest is Richard Henry. Richard's here with AEV. Full disclosure, he is my AEV Upfit Vehicle sales rep.
Correct.
We'll put AEV conversions on Instagram down there on the bottom of the YouTube. Also, if you are listening to us on streaming, it's at AEV Conversions is their Instagram. Check it out. Richard, thanks for coming out. Why don't you give us a little bit of background about let's start with yourself. So how did you end up in the place where you are now? Which is not my podcast studio, by the way.
Right. Yeah. So AEV, for those who don't know, is short for American Expedition Vehicles. It's a overland-based primarily Jeep and Ram company that makes upfits for the Jeep and Ram platform. They recently got into Chevy. How I got involved, being from Utah, Moab is kind of my background. So I grew up, my dad owned Wranglers. My brothers have owned Wranglers. I've owned several of my own. And being so close to Moab, we'd go down there and go wheeling all the time. And we would always see old AEV vehicles, the 90s TJs and previous gen YJs and CJs and whatnot, real bouncing around through there. And just the level of quality looked so close to factory. And it was clearly a step above a lot of the competitors at the time. There was an old TJ Brute platform, which was a short wheel-based Wrangler that they put a truck bed off the backside of. And that was kind of my first introduction to AEV. And I just remember being a teenager just thinking that was the coolest thing. So fast forward to the mid 2000s, and I'm working at a Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep dealership in Sandy, which happened to be an AEV authorized dealer. AEV signs up only a few dealers in each state to kind of provide exclusivity to the dealerships and value the brand. So Larry H. Miller was the dealership in Utah at the time, and working there, they would have their rep from AEV call on that dealership all the time. It was an older guy, Tom Ryan, and I was always just thinking it was the coolest job. So I would always, are you guys hiring? You guys hiring? Then they had another guy, Kent Klein, come through all the time doing their part sales, and it was the same thing. Are you hiring? Are you hiring? And finally,
so you pestered them long enough to basically hire you, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So
gotcha.
They ended up moving me and my whole family from Utah to Michigan, and we lived there for 5 years. And I did every job under the sun for AEV, from parts to even Hemi Tech at one point. And probably shouldn't be the guy doing that. But ultimately, they moved me and my family back to Utah, and now I more or less run the West Coast for vehicle sales. So
gotcha.
Pretty cool gig.
So I'm a fan of the brand. Billy, Liz, do you know a lot about the brand?
No, actually.
So Billy, I think Billy does, because we've had the discussion before on the vehicles. But the thing is it's like a seamless factory integration of aftermarket parts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the people at AEV are obviously enthusiasts, but there's also a bunch of former Jeep and Ram employees there.
Correct. Yeah.
And like the way I look at it, and I this may be pretty close, is that it's what Jeep and Ram would build if the bean counters gave the engineers a little bit more budget to play with.
That's a good way of looking at it. Like, AEV's goal has always been to meet or exceed OE. A lot of our engineers came from Chrysler. Our original suspension engineer was a Jeep suspension engineer. So even the fact of us being in Michigan now is because we needed to be closer to the same manufacturing capabilities as Chrysler. So we were originally a Montana-based company, kind of grew up in the mountains, so to speak, and moved to Michigan to be next to all the manufacturers' stamping plants and same equipment, OE equipment, as the factory, just for that very reason. So
very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, with my Jeep, we took off the King's 2.5s, and we took off whatever coils we had on there, because once
rock crawler.
Yeah, once my kids and I really got more into going out for weeks at a time and really having to carry that extra weight, we switched over to the AEV shocks and the AEV springs, and it was remember how much of a difference it was, Mike? I could load it. It was level. It could still wheel. It would drive on the highway nice. You didn't move over 2 lanes when you slammed the brakes. It was
right.
nice. Yeah.
There's a lot. And the thing that always impresses me, obviously, whenever a new platform comes out, I mean, take a look at the Bronco, right? All the parts that are the first parts to come to market generally are crap, right? So the first product to market is the stuff that gets rushed. The R&D isn't there. It's not always the greatest stuff. AEV and much, as frustrating as it is, it's like AEV stuff isn't always the first to market, second to market. Most of the time it's pretty late in the game, but the R&D that goes into it kind of always shines through. That's why I've always been a fan of the brand, just because the parts bolt on, we don't have issues, which, as any of our listeners may know, Billy, Liz, anytime you put an aftermarket part on car. It's like a suggested, quote unquote, air quotes, suggested fitment.
Right.
And you may have to like cut some stuff that you didn't anticipate that's not in the instructions. It doesn't fit right. It doesn't work right. It doesn't last. With AEV, you don't really seem to get a lot of that stuff.
Right. So it is frustrating from my perspective, and speaking for other inside sales and even the designers and engineers behind all this stuff, it was really frustrating because, just like Mike said, everybody else has already came to market with their various JL platform bumpers and suspension and whatnot, and we were probably close to 2 years before we had our first full setup available for the JL, and it was strictly because we didn't want to release anything if it wasn't really ready. Like, at the end of the day, we have to warranty this stuff. We're going to put it on a dealer lot and expect somebody to pay, $20K over the factory price for it. It's got to be done correctly,
Funny how that's a unique idea.
Yeah, and it really is. And we'd get hundreds of phone calls. I mean, I at the time I was working on an inside sales, so I would answer the phones, and people would just be so frustrated because they could buy, you name 10 other brands that they could buy right on the spot, and AEV still is more or less irrelevant at that point in their minds. But it's just because it had to be done right, and it shows now. When you go to SEMA or you look up AEV, everybody assumes it's factory done, it's factory quality, and that's just because we spent forever developing the stuff to make sure it came out correctly. So
Awesome.
So you are on the Upfit Vehicles side of things.
correct.
So somebody wants a completely tricked out Jeep, completely tricked out Ram with some of the best stuff that they can get. They can order that through a dealer, which I obviously am one of the authorized dealers.
Right.
Spec out the truck, order the truck exactly how they want, and then they can package it all into financing and kind of pretty much have a turnkey vehicle. So why don't you kind of speak a little bit on that? Because that's a really interesting fact, because not a lot of manufacturers have that.
Yeah. So it basically comes down to, there's two different parts of our business. There's the turnkey vehicle side, what Mike just mentioned, and there's the part side, which is you jump on Quadratec's website or you come to Adventure Off-Road and you buy one part of ours off the shelf and have them put it on. The side of the business I represent is the full turnkey side, and a good representation of that is if you're familiar with Celine or Roush or any of those guys that do a special package. It's got a different serial number and a VIN placard on the vehicle that says, hey, we built this, we put our name behind it. That's what the turnkey side is. So you basically would go to Huntington Beach in this case, sit down with Mike or one of the sales reps and spec out the AEV package that you want on your vehicle. They order it through Chrysler. Chrysler drop ships it to our facility in Wixom, Michigan. We put the full kit and caboodle, if you will, on the vehicle, which on a JL right now is the 370 package, which is centered around a 37-inch tire. But then it's branded and badged and warrantied by AEV. None of the factory stuff is voided as far as the warranty is concerned. You get a little build placard on the inside of the door jamb. And that's a huge part when it comes to resale value. I mean, if anybody that's got 10 minutes on Facebook can look at the resale value difference between an AEV built vehicle and a clone is what we call it, which is just a vehicle that has some of our components on it. It's just like if you buy a Roush supercharger on eBay, that doesn't mean it's a Roush Mustang. Or if you buy a Celine headrest cover, it doesn't make it a Celine. It's kind of the same concept. So
when someone orders say they order the 370 and it gets delivered to you guys, how long does it take to get through AEV and then back onto the customer?
30 days, not including shipping, but 30 days build time on a Wrangler. Rams, that's another story. So we make a Prospector XL. So XL is Roman numeral for 40, which is a reference to the tire size. So it's a Ram 25 or 3500 diesel on 40-inch tires. To do that, we have to, it's a lot of labor, long story short. We have to cut 2¼ inches out of the flares, body work, hydraulic steering. So that one's closer to 60, 70-day build time.
It's a mammoth undertaking.
Yeah.
I've built a couple of them in the shop, and it takes one guy nonstop 3 weeks.
And then we put a warranty on it. Like you got a Ram diesel with new gears and 40-inch tires under factory warranty, and then AEV puts a lifetime warranty on all their components. So it's pretty bizarre.
It's definitely a good way to go. And so full disclosure, AEV is not sponsoring this podcast. They've given us Nothing at all. In fact, it's costing us money to have them here because I bought the bottle of High West whiskey. So this isn't an AEV commercial, but I'm a fan of the brand. And obviously I thought it'd be cool to have you on. Billy's obviously knows about AEV. So how many trucks and Jeeps do you guys build a year? Round numbers. Before COVID.
Thousand Jeeps. Rams have ramped up quite a bit, so probably 600 or so Rams, I'd say. So
Really?
1,600 between all three platforms, Jeep, Gladiator, and Ram. So not a
good
huge
amount.
number.
That is a good amount. The weird thing is, though, is back when it was 4th gen Ram and JK Wrangler, the numbers seem backwards. Well, I mean, the deliveries seem backwards. I sell way more Rams than I do Jeeps.
Yeah.
But it seems like, from what you just told me, the Jeep is still a really good seller for you guys.
It's still, when people think of off-roading or overlanding, over any brand, the number one vehicle that's going to come to your mind unanimously is going to be Jeep. So that's the reason they sell more of them. It's also a less expensive platform. Most people that go to a Ram have already been through the Jeeps and they just need more room. They need the towing capacity. They want to tow their side by side, what have you. But the Ram is kind of looked at as the step up, or graduating, if you will, from the Wrangler. If you're in your 30s or older and you don't want to be bounced around on the rock anymore, but you still want to get out and see stuff, the Ram can take you to do it.
Billy's over 30 and he likes getting bounced around on the rocks.
Yeah, my bank doesn't anymore, so we lay off that for a while. What about you, Liz? You like bouncing around on the rocks?
Why does everything you always say sound so inappropriate?
Have you met him?
Yeah, it's true. You know what? I will always think of how bad your luck is when you're off-roading. Everything seems to break. You don't even have to be off-road. Something's going to break on your vehicles.
Oh, you talking about when we went out and then my wheel fell off on the freeway?
I was not with you for that. You called me about that.
Yeah, it was your fault.
What? No.
So Liz and we went out to a bar like in Hollywood somewhere, north the valley. And I'm like, man, the Jeep's sure making a weird noise. And she gets out and she's looking around and I'm looking around. And then I'm like, it's fine. So we go inside. We have a couple. I drop her off. I get on the 210. Wheel comes off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do we even mention who put the wheels on that Jeep? Or they have enough money and enough lawyers to make our lives a living hell. So we'll just leave that one. We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah.
You don't have the best of luck at times, it seems like, with anything automotive. So, but I guess you got out of the Volvo before it could hurt you because you only had it 3 weeks.
It was starting to. It was
really
actually,
that quick.
So, yeah, the when they were doing the inspection to buy it, the sunroof broke, and then my blind side monitor system kept going off. So I just got rid of it and made a decent amount of money and waved goodbye. I didn't even have stuff inside the car. I didn't even have to grab anything out of it.
Did you even put it in your name?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Insure it.
Well, you came up then. Good.
Yeah. For once, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought the vehicle you made money on is a 200,000 mile Volvo?
Right.
Right.
It had
so crazy what you can make money on with a car.
It had 90,000. It was brand new.
90,000, 200,000 miles. I think a Volvo, anytime it gets past like 50,000 miles, it's all the same.
Dude, that's what's weird about the P&W. So in LA, right, it's 100 degrees year round. The cars don't last. Up here, everybody has their cars 200, 250, 300,000 miles. Everybody. It's such a trip.
They also don't drive the same way we do down here.
No, it's just all highway miles, really.
LA is hard on cars.
Yeah.
I mean, the third world country potholes we have down here, don't do. I mean, they worked great for us when we were at BMW, right, Billy? Everything needed bushings and strut mounts and wheels and bubbled tires. But, I feel like down here in Southern California, you almost have to have like a 4-wheel drive, just to like roll over all the potholes and everything else that's commonplace nowadays.
Yeah, I've actually not only bent but cracked wheels on some of the potholes up here.
In the Ranger?
No, in the Mini.
Oh, I was about to
Yeah.
say that's
No, that would be-
that's a good accomplishment if you can manage to do that.
But if you see the way she drives that Mini, you would understand.
Like a go-kart.
Liz. Oh yeah.
So I
Fine, Jeff.
actually have inserts I swapped out for the puddle lights. It says street legal go-kart on it now.
That's
Nice.
funny.
So you're a
Mario
mini
Kart
nerd.
for grown-ups.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It is.
How long have you had
began
that
it as a
now?
kid. So I bought her in 14. She's a 12. And gosh, I'm over 90 in her too.
Yeah.
You
I
have
put
a
my
R56
job on the line. So many
R56?
put my job on the line doing side jobs on that thing. And yes, it's an R56.
I did not ask for it.
Oof. So has it had the turbocharger, timing chain, fuel pump, everything else done to it yet?
No, because
Fuel
she keeps
pump.
oil in her engine.
Yes.
Oh, there you
I
go.
take care of it.
Yeah.
I've only had to change a couple things on it. Plastic wears, rubber wears. So little things like I had to change out thermostat, which was a fun job. My dad
Shocker.
and I did that.
Yeah, I think I did like 7 Goodwill claims on that car.
Under
Appreciate
warranty
it.
forever.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it was cool. I mean, she drove it. She used it. We were
Mhm.
friends.
We had an R56 and I kept it for a year. And I could not get the fuel smell out of it from day one. We would drive it, you'd park it, go in a grocery store, come out 45 minutes later, start it on hot soak, and you just got fuel vapor smell through the dash vents. And we
Ooh.
could never find a leak.
It's
And
probably
when
a shitty cologne.
bro,
I never had that issue, thankfully. Mm-mm.
no, but you know what? It like working at corporate, like it was a thing. So it was a thing. Some of them had
Yeah.
it, some of them didn't. So, and it was brand new. So I kept it a year, got rid of it.
Yeah. No, I've had
Traded.
almost zero problems. Like I said, the thermostat, which was a job, and then just I don't know, different plastic pipes and things, but nothing major.
Oh man.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't wish that evil on her, Mike.
Minis to whiskey. That's the name of the podcast now. So
Right.
I mean, you had a mini. I had a
few, yeah.
mini. She had a mini. So I guess it kind of fits. It was an absolute blast to have that car. I love that car. It was literally like having a go-kart
How did you fit in that thing, Mike?
comfortably.
Yeah,
it or
they're
not.
big. They're big
Very
inside.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Mary Poppins' bag. You just get it, like,
You
clown
guys see
car.
that IHOP commercial where 10 clowns jump out? That's what it reminds me of.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it. So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
But everyone's comfortable.
Yeah. Everybody liked those cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
No,
one of the
that wasn't a
reasons-
bad car.
One of the reasons I wanted it in the first place. So a couple things. One, I used to live in LA proper, and so parking, that's a bitch, and going
Yeah.
in and out of traffic. I am the Italian job in real life. So I knew I wanted a Mini, and then I went shopping and I test drove one, and I got in like, I actually don't think I want this car. I'm like, this is driving like crap. This is nothing like, so usually what happens is I do a bunch of research. I know exactly what I want. I go out and get it. This is going to sound stupid, but I usually know what I want and I'm happy with what I get. And so I started driving this car and I'm like, this is not the thing. And he's like, well, we have a turbo and we have an S. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to try that out. I got in. I'm like, okay, that's what I was missing. This is the car I need. So if you get a base model, I wouldn't, have
No,
it the
they're
same
no
way,
fun.
But the turbo, she's been beautiful.
The smoking deal right now that people are giving away like they hate them are R53s. Like you can get the first gen supercharged one with a stick shift. You can find a nice one for like $7,000. And nothing on those things really went bad either. I mean, you throw motor mounts at it, all the bushings, this and that, and they never really seem to have problems either. Thermostat, that was a fun car.
Mhm.
You remember when
Yeah.
those came out, Billy?
Mhm.
How they had like a year waiting list?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it
a
was
different
crazy.
crowd from now until the first group of people that bought them.
Yeah, the
Well, if
mini.
you look at the new minis too,
It's the
they're
size
so
of a
different.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just
like
keep
a
getting
2-door
bigger.
mini the size of my JK. It's huge.
It's
That's
crazy to look at
wild.
any car nowadays and realize how much bigger they've got. Look at an old Toyota Tacoma or Toyota Tundra. Like the old Tundras from like the 90s are
Oh, the
smaller than a
T100.
current Tacoma. Like it's
Yeah.
bizarre. It's crazy.
Or the original Rangers too.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
tiny little
Super
go-karts.
tiny.
It's so crazy.
Like your Ranger's probably the size of my F-250 if we parked them next to each other. I'd almost say
should.
it's the same.
We should check that out.
It's probably pretty close. And yours has way more horsepower than mine does for like 3 times the engine size.
It's
So
awesome.
technology is great.
Yeah.
So Richard, where you get to travel a lot for AEV, so where's some of your favorite places to go? Since we're derailing from
no, I figured you were going to ask me this. So we're so close to Huntington Beach that it's going to sound like it's a staged answer, but I really do like Huntington Beach. They've got great coffee places, and that's I'm a big coffee guy. So like no joke, I have a Google Map document with my favorite places to get coffee. So when I'm traveling,
Interesting.
it's obviously priority is the dealers, but then it's like, okay, where can I get good coffee? So I really like Huntington Beach.
The Sugar Shack.
The
gotta go to
Sugar
Sugar
Shack.
Shack.
That's my favorite breakfast place. No joke.
That's mine too. Main Street omelet all day.
So I'll stay. What's the 602 coffee house around the corner? I go to 602 and go around the corner to Sugar Shack for breakfast every time I'm in town. No joke. That's funny. So
Yeah.
I like Huntington Beach. I really like Pismo and Avila. They've got Scorpion Bay coffee, which is freaking phenomenal. We've got some good food places. The beaches are really nice. There's a little cove there. And then I like Bend, Oregon, just because it's beautiful mountains and you got what is that name of the Deschutes River that goes through town. You can literally, there's a place you can rent a paddle board or just a tube and just float to Deschutes. So that's way cool. I love Colorado. You've got Silverton and Telluride and Ouray. That whole Red Mountain Pass area, bucket list,
Gorgeous.
along with the one on the West Coast. Red Mountain Pass is amazing, not awful.
Awfully awesome.
Jackson Hole is always fun. I would recommend staying in Victor though, because Victor has cheaper hotels that's really pretty. You're higher up in the mountains, and then there's Teton Pass that connects the two. So that's some beautiful, beautiful scenery. A lot of good Jeep trails are in that area. And then being from Utah, Moab, Zion, Arches, Bryce, all that stuff. My daughter's name is Bryce after Bryce Canyon, so I'm a big
Very
outdoor
cool.
guy.
That's
So-
awesome.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Bend, are you going to be in Bend in a couple months?
Yeah, actually.
There's,
Yeah, I will. I don't know exactly when, but I have to go up there. We have a couple dealers I got to visit.
yeah.
You going
see
to
Mike?
Expo?
No, I'm not. So my marketing department is primarily the one that does all this stuff. I'm
Ah.
kind of the behind the scenes guy. This is really my first out in the open, so to speak. I'm usually the guy behind the curtains, pulling the strings, that's getting the vehicles in and not showing his face. So,
Gotcha. So Matt
no
will be
Overland
there in the
Expo, no.
Colorado.
correct. Yep,
Okay.
that's correct. Matt Felderman.
Yep. That's cool. So you won't get to be at Expo, so I guess,
Did you decide to go, Mike?
I've actually looked at it. I plotted it out on the
You
map.
got to go.
So I'm thinking about it. I looked at it and it's I can't remember. It's like 800 miles each way from here. So the way my cheap tight ass brain works is I do the fuel mileage math and see how much it's going to cost me versus
You
like
have to
flying
nowadays.
in.
Holy crap!
I love that
Versus-
we have
and
this
running.
podcast about overlanding, and Mike refuses to overland. He's like,
I was gonna
"Oh,
say, use
that's
points
just,
and fly out.
yeah, it's way too
So,
far."
Mr. Overland, so what hotel are you staying at?
He's overlanding in a mini. Don't forget.
Yeah,
he's
well,
over-
I got a
Is it
hotel
in
because
Overland?
the truck's going in a booth now.
Sleep in your tent on the ground next to the rig like everyone else.
They won't let you do it. They said,
That's
not
overlanding.
yeah, I emailed them. They said that the amount of square footage that said booth has is the amount of square footage you get to use. So
So you
if they
have to-
got like a 8x20 easy,
So if you have a rooftop tent, you'd be fine.
Yeah, you got to
Right.
go up. It's like living
Yeah.
in New York. You just got to build up.
plus Bend in July is going to be like 100, dude.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be disgusting.
And I'm bringing the kids. They
So
just look like
showers, air
Yeah,
conditioning.
they would look like bacon strips after 4 days and 100 degrees in a tent. with no shower.
If they're gonna look like bacon, what are you gonna look like? A pork chop?
Just normal.
Okay, wait. Stop saying 100 degrees or you're never going to get Liz up there.
Oh look, hey, Kaylee, our producer, just jumped on.
So, like I was saying, it's
Happy.
going to be 76. And
Exactly.
76 is close to 80, and 80 is close to 100. So there you go.
She sees my face like
Round up.
100.
It's like, we're never going to get up there if you keep telling
You're
her it's going to be
going.
100.
I was
It's gonna be
absolutely
overcast in the
rethinking it.
60s. It'll be
Yeah,
beautiful.
right. Dude, it was like dominoes were falling. Mike's talking about it. I'm like, okay, maybe. And then you mentioned 100. I'm like, well, there's other
Really?
places. Alaska.
I really don't want to be outside.
The
in 100.
alarm.
But
The
it's
alarm
a
went
dry
off.
100 degrees, so that doesn't count.
It's a dry heat,
Oh, God.
right? That's what my friend Tony says. It's a dry heat. It's,
That reminds me. Does anyone watch Letterkenny? Nobody?
That-
Just Kaylee?
no,
Well, at least
no.
Kaylee watches it.
we're all grown-ups.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, but
I
also
don't
that
even know
doesn't
what that.
apply
I don't
here.
even know what that is. What is
Yeah.
letter?
Oh, Letterkenny, it was something that started in Canada, but it's just
Okay, that's why I've
it's
never seen it. I
kind
don't
of like
care
a
about
skit
Canada.
show. It's pretty funny, but whatever. Anyway, joke is lost. The point is they make a joke about being in LA and how it's a different, like, cold.
Is
down
it like
here.
a Canadian Saturday Night Live?
No?
Not that kind of skit.
Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, sitcom, but sketch, but not. And it's like a sketch show, but it feels like
I'll
there's
have to
through
YouTube
lines
it.
and stuff.
It's like a
Yeah, it
Canadian,
used to
like
be.
Portlandia or something.
Oh God.
Because
But
that's like a
not.
skit.
Fred
comedy.
Armisen is. I
show.
tried to watch one episode of that and I couldn't do it.
No, you
Well,
should
it's
try it, but
obviously not the
humor's
same
totally
people.
different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the concept.
Right.
Let's see. So
I
is
just
that
watch
like,
Although-
Archer. That's it.
To be honest,
Archer
with,
on repeat.
yeah, Archer. There you go.
Portlandia, the first episode, the kitchen or the chicken episode, I've met people like that. So that strikes home. If you guys haven't seen that episode.
I tried watching Portlandia. I just.
I got through like 2 episodes. I was like, I can't. This is.
Yeah.
Again,
That was me.
I've met
That was
those
me with
people.
The Office. I couldn't do The Office either.
What?
No,
No.
I couldn't do The Office.
Did you ever
Okay.
try again? Or is it still
No.
past tense? Oh, you still can't. Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't tried again, but no, I just. It's
There's
just
certain
not.
shows you just have to try. So Schitt's Creek, I won't lie, I gave it like 3 shots. I still hated it, and then finally, I don't know, I kept watching it, and then it was just to die for. I've watched it a million times now.
Yeah,
Hey,
I had to
Richard.
get through.
What's
I
up,
had to
Billy?
get through like 3 episodes before I was hooked
Do you-
on it.
You have eggs in your breakfast burrito?
Oh, I knew that was gonna come up.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course I do.
Right.
Obviously.
So I'm
Yeah.
just
Is
saying,
that
check
like
your
legit? No,
always-
people don't do that.
always check your references. You're surrounded by people that don't eat eggs in their breakfast burrito.
You're literally in between 2 people that refuse to eat eggs in their breakfast burritos.
So is
Yeah.
it just in your breakfast burritos, or are you just anti-egg
I
in
won't
general?
eat eggs. Period.
Okay.
I don't really like eggs too much, although I did make duck eggs for breakfast the other day, so that was cool.
See,
They were
that's
really
weird.
good. Well, I mean,
You're
it
one
was
step away. You're one step away from balut.
no, I think we're very many steps away from.
Well, I mean, it fits the background. It reminds me of like Survivor. They eat the duck eggs. And,
Oh, there we
you got
go.
the tiki thing going on. That's your next venture.
I love it. You
Richard
know what?
Hatch
I'm
is going to come through naked
Why
get out.
naked, Billy?
because that's how he was in the show. Always naked.
Always?
Always.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess I'm too young for that.
Wow. Hello,
Old man.
darkness, my old
Yeah.
friend.
So if you get a breakfast burrito without eggs, what is in it? Just potato
Potatoes,
and
meat, cheese,
Cheese,
salsa.
cheese, all the good stuff. No
Yeah,
eggs.
you get extra meat. You either do like cheese and bacon. Oh, so good.
Extra potatoes. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's like 11 strips of bacon wrapped in a tortilla.
What's wrong with
Are
that?
you complaining? I don't know. It's amazing.
You guys are out of control. So what's your
No.
go-to breakfast on the trail?
Yes.
breakfast burrito. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
without a doubt.
Do you
Logical.
pre-make them and heat them there, or do you make it on the trail?
I'll pre-make them and heat them on the trail. I'm also big oatmeal though. I just Quaker minute, whatever the heck. I cut up some apples
Yep.
and some almond butter, and that's one of my favorites.
Nice.
Yep.
So
Funny, that's what I have every day.
now,
Really?
do you do
Yeah.
on the trail? Do you do like black coffee? Do you make coffee, or
So
because since you do like coffee, do you bring the French press?
Oh, that is a good question. Since you
Yeah.
really do like coffee, what do you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
would
do?
surprise some people with my coffee routine. So based on where I traveled, I buy a bag from my favorite coffee places, and that's what I travel with until it's gone, and then I buy my next bag. So I always buy whole bean, and I have a hand grinder, and then I have a French press, and then I have a pour over, which is just one of those little I forgot the brand of it, but it's a little glass pour over thing. So boil the water and grind it accordingly, and I have to have my sugar in the raw. Like I'm like a princess when it comes to my coffee. Like, but I have
Nothing wrong with that.
I've got my big tote with all my coffee stuff in it that I just throw in, and it's all everything's already in it.
You got to get a James Bond Pelican case that you can like open up, and it has the foam cutouts for the French press and the pour over. And, like,
I'm
the
almost
bag of
there,
beans.
man. It's funny. It's
That way
it's,
you can take it with you, throw it in the Jeep. You don't have to worry about your glass carafe getting broken or anything else. It's like, there you go.
Yeah, mine's wrapped in a pad, like basically like a big oven mitt, if you will. So I stick my so it doesn't break the glass.
We don't have anybody from Pelican that listens to this, but maybe the guys from Rome need to get you set up on a case for your
that would be sweet
for your coffee stuff, so you can have like a tactical coffee loadout.
Yeah, I'm a big coffee, and it's not just in the morning. I'll get halfway through the day, and I'll be wherever the heck I am. I'll pull over, go quarter mile down the road on some trail, and just pop it all out. I have my Kelty chair, and this chair has like an enviable life in itself because it's been more places, and it's just kind of cool to think about like how many places this stupid chair has been. But I'll whip out my chair and my coffee and sit on the beach somewhere and have a cup of coffee before I head on to my next meeting or whatever. So
I started doing that with a coffee cup I got from 395 North, and then it was like first you kind of just did the Grammy thing, right? I took a picture of it and tagged him, but then I realized like I was doing that, and that cup had gone 20,000-30,000 miles, hundreds of pictures. It was pretty cool.
It's
and
cool to think about. Yeah.
But I felt like now I just use it because it's so cool to have a picture of me drinking coffee and just all these random places
on your desk at a foreign independent in Bellingham. Now it's gone into retirement.
Oh man,
it's on pause.
Yeah, there you go.
It's on pause. So listen, since we
were buried in snow and it was 24 degrees, and then it got down to 2 degrees. So I'm pretty hardcore, but I'm not 2 degrees hardcore.
I don't think, when I was at Hammers and it was like 4 degrees on the lake bed, like that is like fucking cold. Like I cannot, I can't imagine trying to camp and enjoy myself and be comfortable. But like I went down the YouTube rabbit hole of the guys that do like snow camping, and they bring like the tent and they bring it in on the dog sled and they set it up, and it's got like, it has like the wood stove inside of it, and they're out there hacking trees down, cutting holes through the ice. I'm like, these guys are insane.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just gonna watch you be miserable from my couch with my Mexican fleece blanket. I'm good.
I like winter camping, but if you're out on the ice with the wind, that's when it's not fun for me. Like if you can still be in the trees out of the wind, it's still bearable.
Yeah.
Good thing a lot of people don't realize is bring a blanket. If you've got even your little solar power, your Goal Zero or whatever you're using, your little power bank, just cheap heated blankets, man, they're lifesavers. Because versus using propane heaters and stuff like that in your tent with the fumes and risking fire and melting your tent and melting plastics, just like cheap heated blankets, plug them in.
Erin gives me so much shit for not getting a buddy heater. She's like, everyone else does it. Why don't you have the heater in the tent? And like, because I don't want to die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Or burn a fire.
Yeah. Never wanted to use them. We have two.
You see the guys defeat the safety thing, and then they'll like hang them upside down from the wedge of their rooftop tent. Have you seen that? They'll like rig them to hang them from a string, because you know how they have the safety that shuts itself off when it rolls over.
Crazy.
They like disable it, hang it upside down. So like, I get heat all night. I'm like,
So
when
we did the month trip all through Washington before we moved here, I didn't want to take like 5, 6, 7, 8 cans of propane just for the buddy heater. So we did 2 electric blankets and then just ran them off the Goal Zero. Yep, and I mean, it took half the space, a quarter of the weight, and they're twice as warm, because the problem with the buddy heater is it's 25, 30 degrees outside. As soon as that heater goes off, your tent is just freezing again.
Yeah, so the heaters put off a lot more condensation, make a lot more condensation too, because they heat up the inside and the heat rises, and The
Right.
outside air temperature makes the moisture freeze. And,
Hand warmers.
yeah.
Brandon, I
Yeah.
was using.
The little hand
Serious.
warmers are nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Crack the hand
Yep.
warmers, shake them up, put them inside your socks.
Yeah.
put
Yep.
enough
I
in the
did that when Liz and I went to Big Bear a few weeks ago. And the first night I was pretty cold, but the second night I was like, hey, why don't I pop one of these hand warmers and stick it at the bottom of my tent where my feet are to keep everything warm? And I was golden. I was like, this is perfect. I can put
That's the
one
move.
down there at my feet in the tent somewhere. And it was like, yeah, it was night and day from the
See,
night.
that's really cool that you were cold but you still went camping with Liz, but she's
Shut
worried
up,
that if it's
Bill.
hot in Oregon, she's not going to go.
I know. I've gone to so
You
many
can
like
do something
cold
about
places
cold.
with her,
You can't do something not hot.
and I don't like cold.
Yeah,
hot's
Exactly
hot.
but I mean,
Yeah.
that's because
You
you're
can't
a
get
good
rid of
friend.
hot.
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm a good friend. Thank you.
What
You
were you
are.
saying, Richard?
No, I was just agreeing. When it's too hot outside, I can't sleep either. I mean, you're waiting until 2 or 3 in the morning for it to cool down enough to fall asleep. Yeah, it's a totally different game when it's too hot.
Amen.
I got a
You
hotel
did
room.
the Mojave
There's two
Mojave
beds.
Trail, right, Billy? Last year you did
Yeah.
the Mojave Trail.
When it was like
And-
115.
Yeah, when it was like
Yeah.
115 and you pieced out like a day into it.
I mean, that's a dumb choice. So,
Yeah, it was 115, dude.
yeah,
But
why
it's a
do
dry,
that?
it's a dry heat.
You don't even go camping, bro.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't go out in 115 degrees. Fuck that. No, I'll sit at home in my air conditioning. So no, I'm good.
I was doing fine in the casino. It was when I got
Yeah,
out in the
there you
desert.
go.
It was kind of a
There
problem.
you go. Yeah, once you got out of the casino.
So
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But I made
Yeah.
I made it a night.
Kaylee,
Well,
how are
Richard,
you
I'm
feeling-
gonna. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
How were you feeling when we were up in Washington? We had some cold nights up there.
Yeah.
What did
It
you
was-
need?
It was weird. There was only one night when we were up there that I was pretty cold, and it was mostly just my neck. And once I like turned my socks into a scarf, I was good. But yeah. So in the middle of the night, I was like, my head is so cold. Everything else felt pretty good. but
we're just
my-
in bags. We don't use any heaters. We don't use the electric blankets or anything. We just have my bag's rated, I think 14. And then what I've always loved is liners. So if you have sleeping bags, then you should have a sleeping bag liner, because not only does it help add warmth to your bag, but also that's what you wash. It's so much
Right.
easier to wash than a whole bag.
People wash sleeping bags?
Actually, wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah, what? No, I do the I take wool blankets,
Yep.
because if you need just that little bit extra, you just throw the wool blanket in there. Wool
So-
And
makes
cots. You
so
also
quick.
bring cots
The
I
problem
do
is
bring
if you
cots.
have,
You're damn right.
if you
and like a
use-
dining table.
You and your bounce house air mattress that fills up the whole entire tent.
God, my fat ass has popped so many of those.
but if you squish down your bag too much, then you don't have the air circulation, so then it won't stay hot. If you compress it, then it's gonna be colder even if you have extra blankets on top.
Yeah. So
So
that's
more
the
underneath.
yeah, like especially on the cot. Like I put down. So I have the cot, and on top of that cot, I have a thermarest pad
Mhm.
that I put down, and then I put the bag on top.
Yeah.
So to just give me that extra, layer of insulation. But I'm a hot sleeper anyway, so it can be, 40 degrees outside, and that bag's unzipped, and my arms and legs are hanging out of it. Yeah,
I was doing that at 30.
yeah, exactly. So when it got down in the 20s, I got snot sickles on my nose. That wasn't much fun.
So I think what we took from all this is that Liz is going to step it up.
Yes.
We're going to see you in Bend.
Mhm.
Producer Kaylee's going to be there. Mike's going to lift up his skirt and make it happen.
Send me gas cards.
Just start it. Be like every other influencer. Start a little GoFundMe. Contact all your sponsors. Gas money for Mike. That's what we'll call it.
Should I sell wood blocks?
Yeah,
Hey,
get
you
some.
could do that, Mike. I was driving from Northern California back down to Southern California, and this girl on her car had helped me go to Disneyland for my birthday, and she had her like Cash App
Yeah.
on there on her
Oh my
car
God,
so people could
Cash
send
App.
her money. I was like, this is a great way to just make some extra cash.
Yeah, that's what the world's coming to.
I know, right?
You don't have to go down to the
Yeah,
OnlyFans
yeah.
yet. You still have options
That's
before
true.
we get to OnlyFans.
Do I have to give up feet pics for the Cash App, or how does that
I was
work?
just gonna say, people keep telling me I should start a foot OnlyFans. It's a joke.
There you go.
It's a joke.
Not if
Yeah.
people keep telling you that.
Yeah, you can't, right? Let's see those
The
things.
first 3 or 4 times is a joke.
Yeah, put one on camera.
No. Yeah, I'd have to charge you.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we
We
got
don't
to
do
get a
that stuff for free.
Patreon started for this at some point. Maybe that'll be the
That's it.
that'll be
Be-
the send off.
like the back screen could be
Dirt
her
to
foot.
whiskey / Liz's
Like,
foot.
like an
Oh my
eagle,
gosh.
like an eagle claw perched on a camp log or something.
Oh God!
Unbelievable.
So far, this podcast has had no sponsors except us.
So,
we
Richard,
can't be bought.
Yeah,
I know,
Billy.
but way to go, Mike.
Yeah.
What?
Turn your
Your phone.
notifications off.
Yeah, come on.
What?
We've
It's
talked
not
about
me.
this.
It's not me.
I think it was something outside. What do you want, Billy?
So I know before we got on the air, we were talking about what you're driving now. What are you using for adventures? What are you going out with and camping out of?
So I actually personally have a Toyota FJ Cruiser, and I know that's against what I do for work, but the reason I have it is just because, like we were talking about this earlier, I have one of everything that AEV makes at the moment, so I can't justify buying one for myself. It just feels like I'm paying for something that I can use for free. So I bought a Toyota FJ Cruiser. It's a 13 Trail Teams edition, and it's a manual, which is one of the reasons I bought it. Every TJ and older Wrangler I've had in the past has been a manual. So that's the route I went. It's got a lift on it and some 35s and skid plates and bumpers and winch and a roof rack and a rooftop tent. And I was talking to Mike about it. I just finished building like a drawer system, if you will, for the backside of it. I've got a drawer slide and a fridge, and so I built little cabinetry, if you will.
It's a moose gear.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love you, Brian. So it's my own little way of carrying all my kit. It's got some strap tie down points and stuff, so I can put all my bins in there and strap them down, but then take them out and not have to empty out drawers. So
not only do you have a Toyota, but you also have a rooftop tent.
yeah, I am
Okay.
almost that Yoda Mafia dude. So
Almost.
but I'm
What is your tent? Do you like it?
I love my tent. I do wish it had a faster setup. So I've got a family of 4, myself included, 2 little kids. So size was a big buying factor for me.
Sure.
So I got some friends at 23.0 that helped me out with a Walkabout 72. It's just a bigger platform. It's a soft shell. It folds out. It's got the blackout technology, so it gets super dark. My wife, she'll sleep until 10 a.m. and then go back to bed at noon for a 3-hour nap. So she is, if it's dark in there, she's happy. So that's why we got that one. It's up high. It's got multiple layers, so we can shed it if we need to, if it's too hot, and it can be nice dark in there if she wants to take a nap.
Pretty much FJ Land Cruiser guys. We're the coolest. I have an
Thank
FJ
you.
Cruiser myself.
You really? What year?
85.
Oh, that's yeah. There you go.
Yeah, because they're totally the same.
Listen,
Again.
both Toyotas.
Okay, one
Oh,
came
yeah.
from both came from Japan. One has an LS and solid axles. The other doesn't.
Body on frame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
that's
you go.
The badge looks cool.
Are they both blue? Is yours
No,
blue?
mine's white.
See, you almost had 2 things in common.
Almost.
Oh, is that 2 things?
Well, we both have the nicest hair here too, so there's 2
There you
things
go.
in common.
And Richard,
I
what's
think
your-
Richard's one up on you with that.
Also rude. Me and Liz are pretty good in the
My-
hair game, so
Not today. I'll say that you're winning. Definitely, Kaylee. I'm gonna throw you under the bus. Richard, what's your drink of choice besides coffee?
Besides coffee. So alcohol wise, I really like. It's gonna sound like super hipster, but I really like IPAs.
Mhm.
I don't like being that dude, but I like the fruity, spicy, hoppy taste of an IPA. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I'm
What's
pretty.
your
I'm
favorite-
pretty,
what's your
pretty easy. I
favorite
like Blue
IPA?
Moon. My favorite IPA is probably by Juicy. It's called Hazy. I think it's called. It's
Uh-huh.
like in a purple can with a big hop on the front of it. That's one of my favorites. That's easily accessible. There's one in Michigan called Hop Slam. That's like a seasonal IPA that you can only get. No, I just said it's seasonal, so you get the idea. But it's only available temporarily. But that one's super good.
Mhm.
And I like a good dark porter too. But like if I'm
Oh,
gonna go
yeah.
super slow and sip on it, there's a Massacre that I found in Michigan once. It's like a 12% and it's like syrup, but it's super good. Yeah, I'm not picky, I guess.
Can you drink porters when it's warm outside?
No,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't either.
cold, and only if I'm having 3 ounces. Like if I like to sip on it, I couldn't just sit there and chug a porter. There's no way in heck.
That's what's funny. That's how it is with IPAs and me too. So I'll load up on IPAs and then we're going camping and then it ends up being hot and I can barely
Yeah.
drink them. It's
Yep.
just, it's such a thick beer that it's like, I don't know. I
What's
just
your
can
summertime
never.
beer
Uh,
or your beer guy?
well,
Whiskeys.
no, I mean,
Billy
I
likes
still drink
beer.
yeah, I
Drinks
still
everything.
drink a good amount of beer. Now that I moved up here, I mean, Rainier's just a good average go-to light summertime beer. But
Kinda like a Washington State Coors Light.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Does it's all right, but
You like any of the Deschutes beers?
I
You
do.
tried any of the Deschutes?
Oh, Deschutes,
I do,
the black beer. Oh,
that
man.
one's good.
Freshly Squeezed is one of my
Fresh squeezed
favorites.
IPA. Yep.
Yeah.
That's my top 10.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I just had something different this last week. So I always get Space Dust from Elysian. And then
Oh,
up
one.
here,
That's another good one.
they had
Those
one
will
called,
mess you up.
yeah, but they had one up here called Dank Dust. It's from Elysian's. Elysian. But it has, I don't know, starts with a T, Tremidor, Trebidine, something like that. Anyways, it smells like weed, like 100% smells like weed. And they call it Dank Dust.
Sounds disgusting.
No, it's actually pretty good. It is. It just smells
mean,
like weed.
Which is so weird because you don't. I don't know if I could sit
smoke
there and
weed.
drink something that smells like weed. It
Yeah.
just that sounds
No,
super weird.
it's pretty good.
Get
Truth.
paranoid just thinking about it.
Yeah, once you relax, Mike, don't be a cop.
I'm just saying, like,
Is that an
drink
appetizing
beer.
smell though? For
yeah,
like
No,
it's
drinking?
like,
It was
doesn't seem
interesting.
like- it doesn't seem like an appetizing smell.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it was fine, but yeah, it's not something I'd go out of my way for. But I'm glad I tried it. You know,
Yeah, there you go.
sometimes you run into a whiskey like that, right?
So you probably have a lot of breweries up there, huh?
Yes.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Breweries and homeless people. That's pretty much all you have.
Yeah, and you get your cheeseburgers covered in aioli.
How else are you going to have underland overpass?
Overland.
Overland.
Overpass overland.
Overpass overland. Come on, Liz.
I said he'd have to get like wheatgrass kombucha smoothies at a
Mhm.
homeless person's.
Oh,
tent.
you know what? We do have that up here. We have a lot of hard kombucha. They have like alcohol infused kombuchas and stuff. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff.
Never had it. Couldn't tell you.
I'm not a fan of kombucha, that's for sure.
So, Richard, being from Utah, do you have to deal with all those insane liquor laws?
So yes, and more
Talk about
recently,
that.
no. Yeah, I know. So I think it was 2017, give or take, that they changed the liquor laws. But it used to be prior to that, it was 3.2. You couldn't get any beer higher than 3.2 without going to a liquor store. And grocery stores in Utah did not sell alcohol. Like you couldn't, like here, you can walk into a Target and buy a bottle or buy some beer. Like in Utah, that wasn't a thing. And man, I traveled to other states, and now I'm getting my states mixed up. But Utah, it still has to be served behind a wall somewhere. Like you can't have an open bar and they serve it in front of you, if I'm not mistaken. And if it is a bar where they're going to serve you alcohol in front of you, you have to pay like an entrance fee. You have to have a membership fee, and it might be a couple bucks or whatever, or you have to order food. So Utah's weird. There's a bunch of
Is it because my
Weird stuff.
buddy lived in Utah for a few years, and I guess if you order a double, they bring it to you in 2 glasses.
yeah. A lot of places won't let you get a double until the first one's gone. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like even if you ordered a normal beer, you order whatever 12-ounce Bud, and you will order a second one, they're going to make you finish your first one and move the cup before they can give you your next one. Just
Billy, we could never.
Weird
We
stuff.
could never.
I wouldn't
live in
survive.
No, we wouldn't
No.
survive.
I
That's
was
crazy.
at Twin Sisters Brewery yesterday, got a good Bloody Mary, and the first thing she asked me, she's like, "You want a double?" And then, of course, that's like an instant challenge, right? I just looked her dead in the eye. I'm like, you
Well, you
give
think
that
I
double
can't
to
hang?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give me that double.
You calling me out?
Then just
So-
bring back another one as soon as you bring that.
Yeah. If you don't come back with another before this glass is empty, I'm walking
No
out on
tip.
the bill.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just have the kids drive. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It all works out.
Yeah.
know
Do
that
they
we're
even have Uber up there, or are you too rural to like?
So
Is it hard to find an Uber?
I was responsible adult this last weekend and caught an Uber on Saturday night from the gay bar I told you I was at.
Yeah,
And
well,
it was $50 to go 7 miles.
it's cheaper than a Dewey.
It is cheaper.
Yeah,
than,
it's not even a question.
How
I
many
mean,
miles?
it was
Seven.
7.7.
You could walk that.
he could fall 7 miles out of an airplane. He ain't walking.
Listen,
I'm
unlike
sure
Mike,
someone at
you've
that
seen,
bar would have
Tired
taken
from
you
that
home.
too.
you've
Yeah,
seen
there
this.
you go.
You've seen this road. There's
He's a
nobody
bear.
walking down that road.
That's
He's
true.
a bear. He'll get a ride home.
That's what I'm
Honestly,
saying.
the worst thing that'll probably happen to you is to get clipped by one of the deer that jump across the road. They'll just wipe you out. Yeah,
That's funny.
That's
Those-
crazy.
those guys are on like suicide missions every day. It's right out
So
in
do
front
you-
of the cruiser.
So you got to get the ARB bumper for the Cruiser now with the bar on it, just in
AE.
case.
I'll go with an AEV bumper.
They don't make anything for
Yeah.
FJ6s.
Yeah.
You can make anything fit, Mike.
I can. That is true. It may not look good, but it'll fit.
It's all
We
there.
got a welder and a plasma cutter. We'll get it.
we
to
got
work.
a set of Toyota wheels.
There you go.
There you go.
See?
There you go. Yeah. So, what new stuff from AEV is there on the horizon?
I was just going to ask that.
Oh man, that I can talk about.
Yes, that you can talk about.
Okay.
We don't want to
Ford
get you in trouble.
Ranger.
Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, we don't. Not any plans for the Ranger.
Yeah. See what we were talking about last episode? How nobody gets behind the Ranger. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so AEV is not like against it. It's just a matter of amount of people and bandwidth and timing and especially
Resources.
resources right now. It's like we have more plans than we realistically have time to address before the platform changes. So JL is an ever growing platform. If you look at how many products we had for the JK versus how many we have for the JL, we're at like half. So we still have a lot of room to grow on JL. So that's for sure ongoing, especially because in history, the Wrangler platform has lasted usually about 10 years before they change the body style. So we know we still have enough time to invest in more products and et cetera. Same thing with the Gladiator and then Ram. So a lot more stuff for all three of those. We have the Chevy Colorado ZR2. So that was an interesting thing. Chevy actually came to us before the ZR2 launched and basically wanted AEV's namesake and build quality, if you will, on one of their platforms to kind of help push it into the overland and off-road market. So that's how we got involved with the ZR2. So that's an ongoing venture we have with them. That's going to continue to grow. Other than that, I would just say keep your eyes open.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have some cool stuff because I know you and I work together to order a lot of cool stuff. So
Yeah.
I got some cool AEV vehicles on order that I'm personally, enthused about and proud to order, like another 392 Wrangler that I decided to order in Sarge Green. And
I'm so excited for this one.
we're going to color match the wheels, tan interior, color match dash, everything. So
If any of you watching this are looking for the vehicle that AEV would recommend, this is the one. So it's Mike's telling you already, but I jumped the gun. I got excited. Sarge Green, tan interior. Anybody that's OG Jeep knows green and tan is like OG Jeep.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. It's a 392. The 392s from the factory come with bronze branding and badging, and this one's going to get the works. The wheels are going to be bronze as well. This thing's going to be sweet. We
Yeah.
only build a handful of these because nobody can get them to begin with. So they're already rare just from Chrysler. So on the AEV side, it's 1 in 100 probably.
yeah, if that. So I already built. So I built one AEV 392, and I had to convince management to give me the go ahead to do it. And the funny thing is it showed up on the lot. It was sold within 24 hours for eye-watering amount of money over sticker price.
Wow.
And when I came to them to do round two, like I couldn't even get the sentence out of my mouth. They're like, go ahead, do it, order it, whatever you want. And I was like, oh, okay. So They don't know it's showing up in Sarge Green yet with a tan interior, but you know, we'll
Yes.
see. So
Liz and I will have to come check it out.
Yeah.
I'll let you know the day that before it lands, so you can be there, or it will probably be gone.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
I've actually had a number of vehicles that Richard and I have built that never even see the dealership.
Yep.
And they're sold before they get built, and then they just end up at the person's house instead of getting to our dealer. So
That makes sense.
yeah, so it's been a good partnership. So yeah, I know there's definitely some fun stuff in the pipeline that, you know, maybe you can and can't talk about.
You see Bronco, some of that stuff just came out. We have a set of Bronco wheels and Bronco diff covers, and that's
Yeah, the Crestone, right? That's same bolt pattern as Ranger, right?
yeah. In theory, that should. I mean, I don't know about the offset for different size. But
Was that
yeah,
Bronco specific wheel?
It was, but if the bolt pattern's the same, then I don't know. I'd have to check and see what
I
the
think
offset
the bolt
would need to be.
pattern's the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
So pop quiz, Liz, what's the bolt pattern
Yeah,
on the Ranger?
no idea.
I was just
How
saying,
many,
I think
how many bolts are on the wheel?
I
Wow.
don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Wow.
Good
I
count.
think
Bronco
it's six
stuff.
on. I think it's like
Yeah.
6 on 139 or 135, one of the two. But yeah, we just did Nick from Peaks Bronco and put the wheels on it, so that's pretty nice on the
What's up,
part
Nick?
side of it. Yeah, Nick may or may not listen to this. He better be listening to it. So,
So speaking of new things coming out, Kaylee almost pulled the trigger on a new vehicle.
You
I
did.
know in
Oh,
episode
yeah.
1 of season 2, we were giving her all our expert advice on what she should get.
But look how
many
much
how many episodes are we in now? And is
This
there
is
a vehicle?
6?
Yeah. how
yeah,
many-
this is 6, and
maybe by season 2. 3?
maybe by season 3 we'll have something. No, but see how much I've grown since the first episode. I was like pretty set on getting a 4Runner on the first episode, and
Yeah,
now I'm
none of us
pretty
are gonna let that happen. So you can-
okay. But nobody said anything. They're like, "Oh, okay, good for you. All right, let's move on." And now, I mean, I'm pretty set on getting a Ranger. Almost pulled the trigger last week. I was at the dealership. I got a pretty good deal, but I was like, let me think about this. And then we were talking before this. The dealer messaged me today that they sold it. I'm like, well, yeah, and I hope you got more than I was going to pay for it.
What color was it? What are you looking
It was
for?
actually the cactus gray, which is like,
Ooh,
Okay.
you put that on a Ranger?
yeah,
That's sick.
I
That's a
really
nice-
like it. Yeah,
That's a
but I was
cool
like, it was one of those things because it's different. Am I gonna get over it, or am I gonna like it because nobody has it, kind of a thing? So I
Right.
was kind of going back and forth on that. I do really like the color, and compared to the other colors, I'm like, I probably am gonna go with that. But yeah, it was cactus gray. It was the Tremor package. It had
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, I had everything there. And actually at the dealer I was at, they did a partnership with out there. And they had a Ranger that was called a Black Widow. It was all blacked out. It was like 5-inch lift, had all
Yeah,
the suspension,
no, we don't do that.
$20,000 worth of stuff that we were like,
Haley's
I can't-
throwing air quotes for everyone that's listening on streaming. So
yes, I was.
yeah, I've seen
I
some of
couldn't
those
find
Black Widow
$20,000.
packages come through my Instagram feed, and it's not good stuff.
No.
No, and one of the things my stepdad was with me that he pointed out is actually the skid plate doesn't even cover half of the stuff under it. So you're just putting a bunch of risk in there. With the skid plate is more narrow than, like, I don't know, the coolant,
Listen.
radiator, I don't know, whatever's under there.
If you live in the South and you have a 9th grade education and a lawsuit settlement, the Black Widow package is for you.
There you go.
For the rest of us, probably not so much, but yeah, no, I'm glad to see that you're looking at the Ranger. That's definitely a good platform.
I'm doing my research. I test drove it and I was like, this is badass. It
Got
was
balls.
Yeah.
It was fast, and on the freeway when I entered it, it's on like a kind of a tight turn, and it handled so nice. And I gunned it. I was like, this is so much fun.
Liz, have you put a tuner on your Ranger?
No, but also 6. So both of them, they have the 6 bolts.
You had to look.
I did.
Thank you.
I do not like not knowing things. I like to learn things, and
There
I
you
like to improve myself. So if I don't know something, I need to know it. Granted,
No,
will I remember
absolutely.
that? I don't know. I know how to work with
It's not
it.
your job to remember it. It's my job to remember it. That stuff.
Yeah. So why didn't you know?
Yeah, why didn't you know, Mike?
I knew the right bolt count. I just don't know the millimeter spread.
How
so.
am I supposed to come to you if you don't know
Oh.
this stuff?
I get it right.
Oh, he's
Ask Billy.
eventually.
Client abuse of the product is not covered by warranty.
Here we go. You mean like having my brake lines rip out because no one strapped up my axle?
What? That's not me.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't brake
Yeah.
lines. It was my front locker. Let my whole.
That was one employee who now works at my competitor. He works for my He works for one of my competitors now.
One time we went out there and I was looking at Mike and I'm like, my whole axle's hanging off. Or I think that was when we're changing the springs, right?
Oh yeah, in the
No.
locker wire is
Yeah,
stretched like a guitar string.
Yeah,
And I
the
told my
locker
guy,
wire was the only thing holding the axle in place. So then I went and loaded up and went on a trail, and I couldn't even
Guess
get
what
the
was
locker to
fucking
engage.
broken? Yeah, so I'll own that one. So yeah, no, we did that. Listen, any shop that tells you that they don't have fuck ups is lying to you.
Oh yeah.
No, every shop has it. I have it, but it's how you handle the customer and stand behind it. So guess what? I fixed your locker wiring.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are friends. That says something.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. You can
Says
be
we have
friends
low
after that.
standards.
Yeah, we both have low standards. So
Yeah.
Boy.
what else was I going to say? So we covered AEV. We covered the brand. We covered, pretty much the exciting, non-existent new products that can't be discussed at this point in time.
We do have stuff coming. But
No,
just
I
can't
know,
talk
but I'm
about
saying
what-
we can't discuss at this time. You
Yeah.
guys always you guys always have cool stuff in the works.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the nice thing that you guys. I mean, the brand is literally run by enthusiasts, so you guys are always doing cool stuff. Can we talk about the two black Wranglers that I have on order?
Yeah.
The classics.
Oh yeah. That's
Okay.
yeah. Absolutely.
So go ahead and talk about the classics.
Okay. So AEV every couple of years they do like a retro or throwback or some special anniversary edition was the last one. The one that just launched as of I don't know, two months ago, I want to say, month and a half ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Is our classic edition, and it's a throwback to the old Scrambler. If you guys are familiar, it typically came black with a yellow and orange pinstripe across the side and white wheels and a tan top. And there was super popular back in the day. So that's what we're doing with the new version of the JL. So it's going to have basically the same graphics, the yellow and orange stripe across the side. The dash is going to be really cool because we actually offer a painted dash. So the Rubicon comes with like that off burnt orange color dash that some people like, some people don't. We take the whole thing out and paint it black. It's like a matte black with that stripe that goes across the center section. And then the gauge cluster is taken out and replaced with the white one as well. And then it's got white wheels and a tan top. So I guess you'd have to see a picture. I'm not selling it very well, but it is really, really cool. And it's limited quantity. So he's got 2 on order.
Yep.
And I think in the rest of everything from the Rockies west, there's only going to be 20 of them built total.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 of 20. So
yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like, I mean, you remember the Scrambler, Billy, when we were kids, like the black CJ with the tan top and the red and orange and yellow graphics, literally what it looks like.
yeah, super cool.
So I ordered mine with hard tops because I didn't want to do the soft top. So I had them paint the hard top tan.
Yeah. These
And
are
the rest of
way
it's going to
cool.
be black. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, when I was
Especially
a
for you
kid,
guys.
For these
There you
guys.
go. Exactly.
Just like that.
100%.
So
So
when I was a kid,
Gladiator
that was the
and
truck
Jet.
I wanted.
Yeah.
yeah.
Who didn't?
So if we have, has that press release happened yet? Because I remember last time we talked, it hadn't been released yet. Because that'd be cool if it's on the website. Because people will go poking around after they listen to the podcast.
So I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's on the dealer portal, but that's not general public access. I know
that's a Matt question.
Yeah, we've launched it officially. I don't know if I know he's put it on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know if it's on our actual website yet for the retail people to look at, but
Yeah.
check it out on Facebook and Instagram if you don't see it there.
Cool. So out of the AEV vehicles,
Yeah.
if you could pick one
Oh, shoot.
in the entire lineage history of AEV for
Ooh.
your vehicle to keep, what would it be?
So I had an answer until you said I can go back in time. And
Back
that's-
in time, we have a
So-
time machine. We can go. We can do whatever we want. Go back in time. What do you want?
So I want a TJ Brute with a Hemi. That's what I want. So
There
the
you go.
older 2005-ish, we used to do a Hemi, a 5.7 Hemi conversion on the old TJ Brutes. That's what I want, because that back then it was still a steel bed. So a lot of people don't realize it, but the Gladiator, the modern day Gladiator, was not the first 4-door Wrangler.
Oh, that's
truck.
a good point. We
Yeah.
didn't talk about that.
So AEV, if for the people that listen to this, they took the short wheelbase TJ. I think I mentioned this at the beginning. They put a truck bed on the back of it. It was called it a Brute. Then they carried that over into the JK, which was the body style from 07 to 2018 roughly, and did the same thing. They kept the 4 doors. They put a truck bed on the back of it, called it a Brute, and sold a ton of them. It was on a bunch of TV shows. It was on Top Gear in 2014. Sold a bunch, and then we offered Hemi conversions on those. And then right about the time Chrysler told us, hey, we're going to drop the Gladiator and we're going to start offering Hemi conversions. That's why AEV discontinued both of those. But yeah, back in the day, the TJ Brute with the Hemi was freaking bad. Like, I love that truck.
Yeah, that's. I would be pretty close between a Prospector XL and a JK Brute 6.4.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's something to that's something to see if you've never seen a JK Brute in person. We did one when I was at OC. They got a 6.4 Hemi conversion, and that thing was nuts.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nuts.
And it's under warranty. Like, who does that?
Yeah,
Who puts 50, more than that? Who puts like 80K in upfit on a vehicle and still keeps it under factory warranty? Like, that's almost a liability.
I
That's crazy.
ruin warranties.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they were phenomenal.
My
If you
friend Jess
check
has a
out
sticker
the
that says,
year
like-
range. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you
Oh,
check
my
out the
friend-
year range,
Go.
all right, you
Liz, go first.
Liz, go.
My friend has a sticker that says, I avoid warranties. That's all. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, before the time frame came in, that was going to be my answer. Was the current Prospector XL for sure? Like, that thing, it's huge, so people automatically assume it drives like it looks. It's on mud terrain 40-inch tires. It looks like it's going to drive like a tank, like just loud and obnoxious, but it drives like a factory vehicle. Like, I drive in and out of LA and San Francisco and all of these tight one-way streets in this giant 40-inch Ram truck, like it's my Honda Civic or something. Like, it's it's kind of funny how actually friendly it is to just drive around in daily driving. So
Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a do-all. So we covered it. We covered a lot of stuff. AEV, minis, various
Trucking and
kinds of
cold water.
whiskey,
mhm,
Kaylee's Ranger, hopefully future Ranger at some point.
Yes.
right.
No. There's no hopefully about it. She's getting one.
That's
Yeah.
it.
She's getting one. We covered
Mhm.
camp coffee, cooking. Did you ever send me that recipe? I got to go back and look through.
I
Liz.
did.
Did you?
Mhm.
Wait, what was it? It was with the milk and
Mhm.
yeah. Okay,
Chilies
now I
and wine.
remember.
Yeah,
Yep.
milk, chilies, wine, 4 hours, give or take, depending on the size of the meat you got.
Yeah, I got that. I got to try that.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. We do. Richard and I, we went out and pregame before the podcast and went out and had dinner and drinks. So
Nice.
yeah, I got talked into a beef stroganoff by the bartender. So it was like seared. It was like brisket with carrots, celery, kind of like a beef sauce with egg noodles. And,
I wish you would have sold it better though. Like, it looked way better than the dude sold.
Oh
it.
yeah, we ordered Maker's 46 smoked old fashions,
Mhm.
and like he dropped off our drinks, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys gonna eat?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of the BLT." He's like, "Oh," he goes, "That's a boring choice for someone who orders a smoked Maker's 46."
I
old
like this
fashioned."
guy.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm just,
Yeah.
the guy just got called out by the bartender. So what do? I go. He's like, "You should order the beef stroganoff because when it's gone, because they only make so much for the day." So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Fine, all right, I'll order it," and it was delicious.
Nice.
That'd be hard
Yeah.
not to go to a Mexican restaurant for the 40th time this week.
What's wrong with going to Mexican food?
Hey, I love
Yeah,
Mexican.
I
Because
will
it-
always eat Mexican food.
Every
Listen,
every
don't be jealous because the rice is white up in Washington.
I was
You
gonna say,
can't
just
get
because
good
Washington
Mexican
doesn't
food.
have good Mexican food.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is pretty
Yeah.
sad. I
it
mean,
is pretty
So
sad.
since
What
we
is
always
Mexican
touch-
food up there? Chipotle? Is that where you got to go?
We don't
No,
have Chipotle.
Michigan has horrible Mexican food. Sorry.
I was about to say.
No.
That was
Michigan's
like the
probably
roughest
worse
5
than-
years of my life. I
Oh,
grew up on
God.
Mexican food, and that stuff is rough.
Oh,
Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to FedEx me some tacos, that'd be great.
overnight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
listen,
what could
it-
possibly go wrong? Where's
they-
Billy? Oh, he got food poisoning.
yeah, probably still be worth it. It's been a minute since I've gotten some serious tacos.
Oh.
We got there's a lot of taco trucks up here now, but still, I mean, and there's even a Mexican guy
taco.
cooking it sometimes.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
not a meth head white tweaker from
Yeah.
Eastern Washington.
but sometimes I miss that suspect, cow meat. Like these cows up here are grass fed and have names and a family and pictures that come with your tacos. It's so
The
Tacos
And you
divide
don't
by-
like the first
cow's
episode
mom
of
is lonely?
Portlandia?
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
God.
You gotta, yeah. You actually have to sign. Donate to get the taco to the family of
Billy.
the cow. It's terrible.
It's
Have
like when
you
you get
seen-
lobster and you pick out the lobster out of your tank. You're like, I want that one.
Yeah,
I want
Yeah.
that cow in my taco.
yeah.
Go
Get me
to the whole
Susie
bed.
Bell. Let's make her.
Billy, if you haven't seen the first episode of Portlandia, you need to go watch that because I think you just read the description.
That's funny. All right, I'll do it before I go to bed tonight.
That's
and then
funny.
since we talk about things that I make, this is because we talked about the duck eggs, okay? Duck egg omelet with sweet potato, like I don't
You
know,
lost me an
pancakes, you
omelet.
could
I'm
say.
just gonna have
Shut
some
up.
more whiskey.
Awful pictures, but whatever.
Mm.
Goat cheese, it's delicious.
Yum.
There's
that
always
looks like
something.
crab
you can make.
legs.
I'll send you the picture off of this.
Okay,
one.
yeah. Doesn't
It'll
look
like make more sense. There's bacon involved and strawberries, so. Mhm.
bacon, strawberry, all good.
Mhm.
Richard, we're gonna need your Google Doc of coffee spots because
Yes.
Done.
Liz and I went up to Washington. We did a trip up to Washington, and anytime I could stop and find somewhere to get coffee, that was my
Yeah.
treat for the
Washington
day.
does- I mean,
There's a lot of
Washington,
good
they have
coffee in
Yeah.
Washington.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
So were
showed
you
her,
just constantly stopping?
Was
Yeah,
it Black
pretty
Rock?
Yeah, we went to Black Rock.
Yeah,
Rock.
I like.
Oh
that.
no, Black Rifle.
No, not Black Rifle.
Oh,
Uh-uh.
Black Rifle. I
They
don't
have
think it's in Washington.
They're
Oh.
neat.
No, it was
Yeah.
Oregon on the way up. We were going. We were stopping at the. I think it's Black Rock. They have their little
Yeah.
drive-through places. Their
Yeah, I don't
tiny
think
little
anything
spots.
rifle is in Washington.
It's not allowed. It's a felony.
Yeah,
No one caused cancer.
Can't have
It will
rifle.
be. We won't get into that, but Washington's going the wrong direction as far as those laws go.
but you
Isn't
can get
that-
meth.
Isn't that crazy that the
What'd you say?
So, but you can get meth.
you can get meth? You can't. Apparently, you can't have 30-round magazines.
she said it
anymore,
with
but you
such
can have
excitement.
I know, right?
Yeah, she's like, you guys didn't get
Crystal
mad.
meth.
Fun.
Coffee
You
and
can get
crystal
meth.
meth for everyone.
That's true. Everybody wants to work 4 days straight.
Exactly.
Free heroin syringes, but no more pistol grips on your AR. So
Naughty,
Safety,
naughty.
safety, Mike.
yeah, I know, right?
If only laws
Well,
made sense. Mhm.
That's it. Can we wrap it?
Are we wrapping this dance up?
I think we're wrapping it up. So, Liz, thanks for joining us as always. It's always great having you on. Kaylee, thanks for putting up with our shit show for another episode. Yes, thank you.
Got it.
Aptly named.
Aptly named, Dirt to Whiskey shit show. So, Billy, this was a great episode.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
thought so,
Richard.
too.
Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for Richard from AEV for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
yeah.
Really.
No, it was a great time. It's great, it's great to hang out with you off work hours, do some fun stuff, talk trucks, talk camping, talk philosophy of the business, and share some whiskey.
Mhm.
Please, at AEV Conversions is AEV's Instagram. I tag them in all the stuff that my work does. Richard and I build cool stuff. Again, totally unsponsored, but cool stuff is cool stuff, and who doesn't like cool stuff? Billy, you got anything for us?
Oh, wow.
Back to you.
Yeah, back to me. Yes. Bend, Oregon, July. You got to get there. That's it, dude.
Richard or me
You.
or Liz?
He's
Which
like,
one?
everybody.
Who are you
Everybody
trying to
comes.
rope
Everybody.
into coming and
Listen,
hang out
it's-
with you?
People
Listen,
who are listening, come
Yeah.
out.
everybody.
I forgot.
So we just need to
Everybody.
rent a really big. We just need to Airbnb a really big house.
I got a hotel room, 2 beds. 2
Kaylee.
beds. We got this.
So Kaylee gets a
where
bed.
you
Liz
sleep.
gets a bed.
We
Billy
know,
gets
they
a
The
shit.
kids are on the floor.
Yeah, no, they share a bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, Mike, you could come
Yeah.
out, bring your big old Flintstone feet with you. We'll take pictures, put them on the gram. Let's
That's
go.
how
I
we're
get
gonna get
paid
paid.
more
That's
than
how we're
I
gonna
would.
pay for whiskey is feet pics of me.
Yeah. Just
Nice.
All right, everybody. Please, the biggest thing you can do for us is check out the YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a positive comment. Leave us a good review on whatever streaming platform you do listen to us. Are we up on Apple yet, Kaylee?
Not yet. It's
Wah,
coming.
wah, wah.
Apple.
Wow.
Apple's gonna. It's gonna be worth it when we get there.
Take some. Do it.
Yay.
There you
I
go.
have faith. But seriously, thanks everybody for listening. The biggest thing you can do is share us, share our podcast amongst your friends, amongst like-minded people. All of us are here for a good time. We're all here for fun. We like to chit chat. So thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take us out, Billy. Play the outro music, Billy. There you go. All right, guys. See you next time.